What is up, guys? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my main event breakdown and prediction for UFC Saudi Arabia. We have Robert Whittaker going against Ikram Aliskerov. And yeah, we've had a ton of major changes in the month of June, and this is certainly one of them. It was supposed to be Robert Whittaker going against Khamzat Chimaev, which was a fight that I was really looking forward to. But Chimaev had to pull out, and then in steps Ikram Aliskerov. Of course, Ikram Aliskerov was supposed to fight Antonio Tricoli at UFC Vegas 93, and they ended up just scrapping the fight, which I think was smart, and then obviously throwing Ikram in there with Robert Whittaker. So yeah, it's a really interesting main event, some closely lined fight as well. We're going to be talking about this fight from a betting perspective. I'm going to make my pick and all that good stuff. Before we get into it, if you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout for the full card breakdown and prediction video, which will be out Tuesday evening. So yeah, I say we get into it here, and we're going to start with Robert Whittaker, who is 33 years old, 6 foot, with a 73.5-inch reach. He is 25-7 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Ikram Aliskerov, he's 31 years old, 6 foot, with a 76-inch reach, 15-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds. Robert Whittaker opened up -180. He is currently sitting at -140, and then Ikram Aliskerov opened up at +155. He's currently sitting as a +120 underdog. So early money has came in on Ikram Aliskerov. There's a lot of hype on this guy, and to be honest, I'm hyped about the guy as well. This is a guy that I feel like could potentially be a contender, and if that is the case, he would need to beat Robert Whittaker. Like, if he beats Robert Whittaker, it's going to just skyrocket his career. Like, this is a guy that was just literally scheduled to fight Antonio Tricoli. Like, this has to be one of the most astronomical steps up in competition I've ever seen in my entire life, going from fighting Antonio Tricoli to Robert Whittaker. So I don't know how to feel about this fight. Like, Robert Whittaker's a guy that he's only losing to the best of the best guys in the division. You know, Dricus du Plessis, current champion, Israel Adesanya twice, and outside of that, didn't lose until like Stephen Thompson back in 2014, I think. So yeah, in the last 10 years, it's Adesanya, and it is Dricus du Plessis. So it's other than that, it's a ton of wins for Robert Whittaker, and he's going out there and beating pretty dang good guys. Guys like Jared Cannonier, Calvin Gastelum, Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa. Some of the better guys in the division, Darren Till, and at that time, that was a pretty good win. Yoel Romero twice, as well. Jacare Souza at the time, these were really good wins. So, yeah, Robert Whittaker, he's been there, he's done that, and he's only 33 years old. It kind of feels like this dude should be a lot older just because he's been so active. He's fought so many times in the UFC, but yeah, only 33 years old. I feel like there's a lot of reasons to like Whittaker in this matchup. I really do. He's fought the much better competition, and it's not even close. Like Ikram, he's looked amazing, but he looked amazing against Mario Souza, who's been on the Contender Series, I believe, 3 times. And I thought he lost his first fight, and then he gets finished by Chidi and obviously Ikram. So Mario Souza, that's not an impressive win to me. Phil Hawes, who has now unfortunately been cut and has no chin, and he knocks Phil Hawes out. That's not an impressive win to me. And then, Warlley Alves, it was impressive, that he knocked him out in the first round, but, Warlley Alves, 39, 40 years old at this point, it's not too impressive. But he's winning all these fights, and he's winning them very dominantly. But this is a completely different matchup here. Like, is he going to go out there and start Robert Whittaker? Maybe. Is he going to go out there and take down Whittaker and get a Kimura? I don't think so. And so it's man, I think Robert Whittaker's going to have a ton of advantages here. Robert Whittaker has 5-round experience. He's been there, he's done that. Robert Whittaker's, he's been there so many times. Whereas Ikram, we haven't really even seen him out of the second round many times. Off the top of my head, I know he went to the 3rd round against Dennis Tuolumne, and he was able to get a Kimura in the 3rd round. And then I was watching this other fight when he went into the 3rd round, and he looked tired. He looked like, the wrestling didn't carry on to that 3rd round. He was looking up at the clock in the 3rd round as well. So that's a concern. What is Ikram going to look like out of the 1st round? Because he hasn't been out of the 1st round in a very long time. So yeah, that's definitely a concern. What is Ikram going to look like in the 4th or 5th if we get there? I don't know. Probably not well. So But the one thing holding me back is, man, we've seen Whittaker hurt a lot as of late. Paulo Costa obviously landed a spinning kick to the head, which wobbled Whittaker, rightfully so. But Costa hurt him. Dricus du Plessis hurt him as well and finished him. I think Dricus hurt him in the first round as well, and then hurt him bad in the second. Ended up swarming and finishing him. Obviously, Adesanya hurt him in the second fight and dropped him, and then in the first fight dropped him a couple times and then knocked him out. So it's like, man, and then of course Yoel Romero dropped him a couple times. So yeah, the chin of Robert Whittaker has always been a concern, and the concern I have in this matchup for Robert Whittaker is Ikram does go out there and land a big shot early. So that's like the one thing holding me back. But Whittaker, I think, is gonna be the better striker. I think he has the better cardio. I think he has the takedown defense to keep this upright. I think he has the grappling to survive if this fight hits the mat, at least till the next round. And as more of the fight goes on, I feel like it's going to favor Whittaker more and more here. But my concern is he gets bonked in the first round. I think that's kind of Ikram's path here. One thing we got to talk about is Ikram was supposed to fight Tricoli, and that fight got made like Wednesday, Thursday, like late Thursday, I think. So he was already probably starting to cut weight, and he went all the way he had to go all the way to Vegas to Saudi Arabia. I mean. And then on top of that, like going from Tricoli to Robert Whittaker, like this was a guy that was training for Antonio Tricoli. This is like a completely different matchup. I think this matchup couldn't be any different than the Tricoli matchup in terms of both skill and style. Like Tricoli's a grappler, and Robert Whittaker's one of the better strikers in the division. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things going against Ikram, but this is a guy that I do believe in. I think he's very good, but he's gonna certainly get a test here against Robert Whittaker. I feel like I have to go Robert Whittaker here. I know a lot of people are going to be on Ikram. There's a lot of hype on the guy, but man, I mean, Whittaker just has so many advantages in my opinion. I think outside of a first round knockout, I think Whittaker should be able to win this fight. Maybe he gets hurt. He's been getting hurt a lot. Maybe he gets hurt, but hopefully he recovers. And like I said, the more this fight goes on, the more I think it does favor Robert Whittaker. So Whittaker minus 136. Best price, minus 136 best price, like minus 135 as well. It's tempting. It's certainly tempting for me at least. And then in terms of any prop, like not much sticking out. Like the over/under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 is minus 150. The under 2.5 is plus 120. If this fight's going over, you're probably thinking Whittaker wins it. If this fight's going under, you're probably thinking Ikram wins it. So I feel like the total is more so correlated with the fighter. I feel like if this is going under, it's Ikram getting Whittaker out of there early. And if this is going over, I feel like it's Whittaker kind of weathering the early storm, surviving and maybe some bad spots or bad moments, and then just taking over and as the fight goes on and starting to win minutes down the stretch. Whittaker by decision plus 265. Don't love it. I mean, if I'm betting this fight, it probably would be on the Whittaker money line, but I have a bad feeling about this one. Like, it could all end very, very poorly. Like, Ikram can potentially starch him is the thing. Ikram has 2 first-round knockouts in both of his UFC fights, but again, against Alves and Wahals, if he goes out there and starches Robert Whittaker, I'd be very impressed. But yeah, this is definitely a show-me spot for Ikram Aliskerov. I do believe in the guy, but I mean, it might be a little bit too soon here for him. So I'm going Robert Whittaker. And I'm going to take him to win by decision. Maybe there could be a late finish if Ikram does really slow down. He was preparing for a 3-round fight against Antonio Tricoli. So the fact that this is 5 rounds, maybe he does slow down, more than I'm kind of expecting. So maybe 4-5 decision for Robert Whittaker, which I don't think is out yet, but maybe not a bad look. But for me, it's probably just the Robert Whittaker money line or pass. But Ikram's a scary dude. Like, it's tough betting against these hyped dudes that are just going out there and making fools look silly. And Ikram's one of those guys. A ton of hype on the guy, a lot of people behind him. But I'm taking the veteran here in Robert Whittaker, the guy that's been there, done that, the guy that I think can go 5. So yeah, give me Robert Whittaker and Robert Whittaker to win by decision. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have on this fight. If there's anything sticking out. If you like a money line or a prop, not a ton of props sticking out for me in this one, but let me know what you guys have. And then, of course, be on the lookout for the full card breakdown and prediction video, which will be out on Tuesday. This card is kind of falling apart. We just lost the Dumas and Dennis Tuoluen fight. We lost Melsik Bagdasaryan on this card as well, so I think we're down to like 10 or 11 fights. But yeah, the breakdown will be out on Tuesday. So you guys, best of luck, and yeah, should be a fun card. We'll talk to you soon. See you.